Hi everyone. I want to start with asking you all a question. So who of you has read the biography on Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson? Yes, I see a few people have. Don't be shy, it's okay. What did you think of the book? How did you like it? Anyone dare to share?
The German translation was pretty bad compared. Maybe a bit too glorifying.
Okay.
Compared to other biographies written by Steve Jobs.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Yes, Kumal?
I second that as well. It's a bit skewed. It feels a little bit biased by the eventual success of the company as well.
Thank you. This is actually the Amazon rating. It's a pretty good book. It's perhaps one of the best biographies that you can find on Steve Jobs, according to the rating. Now, why is it such a great book? What makes it great? It's so great because Walter Isaacson, he immersed himself into the life of Steve Jobs for 2 entire years. He talked with him, he talked with family members, friends, also enemies of Steve Jobs, and he observed him. He observed Steve Jobs up until the point where Steve Jobs wouldn't even realize that Walter Isaacson is there anymore. So he gathered a holistic understanding of the life of Steve Jobs, which made him able to write, well, such a great book. And that impacts us a bit more when reading it. Now, why am I telling you all of this? It's because I started applying immersion in UX research, and I want to take you on a journey and show how also you can benefit in applying immersion in your daily work. But actually, let's start from the beginning. So I originally started working here at Shineta back in July 2020. And ever since then, I've been working on over 25 different products. And I had over 16,000 minutes of conversations with users. And on average, I share 1 to 2 research insight reports per month to my stakeholders. Thank you. Now, when sharing these research insight reports, for the longest time, I felt that I wasn't really heard, I wasn't really understood, and I didn't actually have the impact that I felt I should have had. Now, at the time, yes, this was really the issue that I came to identify was actually my stakeholders. They're too far away from my users. So I had to bring them closer together. I had to close that gap and spark these magic moments. Now, at the time when I started to realize this issue, I actually just started working for Google for a year. I was there on the merchant shopping team, and what the UX researcher organized from time to time were the so-called mini immersions. Now, the researchers would actually take a handful of team members and we would go out and visit a merchant, well, a user of ours. And seeing how that impacted my team members, how it was also for me much easier afterwards to be able to talk with my team members so they understood more about the user, that made me think, why do we just do these mini immersions from time to time? Why don't we include immersion really throughout my research activities? And that's when I started to apply immersion. Now, immersion means being deeply involved. If you immerse yourself into a situation, you experience it with all of your senses. Now, immersion has become a very hot topic with all of the innovations happening at the moment, the technologies available nowadays. The most obvious one is probably the VR headset that you put on, right? But there are a lot of other examples where we see immersion. For example, Robert De Niro. Now, he plays a fantastic actor in the movie Taxi Driver. Now, he didn't just become such a great actor because he rehearsed a lot. It's because he actually joined a taxi driver for 4 weeks and he obtained his own New York City taxi driver license. So he started to create that empathy, which made him then be able to be such a great actor. There are also more day-to-day examples where we see immersion. Now, when was the last time you all went to IKEA? IKEA does exactly that. It uses design immersion. You walk through IKEA and you walk through your potential bedroom. So that helps you be able to feel the way that you can feel as you would be at home. Now, when applying immersion, what I came to realize is that there are really three main benefits. It's effectiveness, efficiency, and engagement. Let's have a look one at a time. Starting with effectiveness. Now, as Anna mentioned, I want to start with a personal story. I went to Albuquerque Amy Beale High School, and at the time we were talking about the Vietnam War in class. And I, as a Swiss female citizen, I couldn't relate too much. I didn't fully understand what my teacher was saying. I didn't really understand up until the point when I got the opportunity to talk to a Vietnam War veteran. It made me better understand about the topic, about his situation. It made me also help to better accept of what my teacher was saying later on in class. So this was a very effective way for me to learn about the topic than just hearing my teacher talk in class. Now this is the same when I do research. When I apply immersion, for example, I conduct interviews. I'm the one conducting interviews to ensure that I ask the right questions in the right way, but I involve my entire team. I involve my stakeholders, so my clients, my team members, so they can listen. They can listen directly of what the user says. Now, this helps them better understand, and this also helps them to better accept of what I'm sharing when sharing the research insight reports. Because eventually there's actually less information lost in translation. Now, there is actually a study from researchers that analyzed articles and how much information would actually be conveyed when summarizing an article. And they came to the conclusion that on average, 30% is communicated. Now, I'm not saying 30% is good or is bad, that's the nature of a summary. What I'm trying to say is that 70% cannot be communicated. So by involving my stakeholders so they can listen directly what the user says, I also ensure that they hear at least parts of that 70%. So this is what I can encourage you to do. Make sure that your team members, your stakeholders, that they understand. You'll get a higher acceptance and it will make your work much more effective. Coming to the second dimension of efficiency. Again, I want to start with a personal story. Now, when I was 9 years old, my parents decided we would move to the US. Now, at the time, my little sister and I, we didn't have any English in class just yet. So in order to prepare ourselves, we actually went to English class once a week for about a half a year. And to be very honest, by the end of that half a year, we were not even close on being able to have a normal English conversation. So the day came, we moved to the US, and yes, this image was taken on a layover airport. That's why we all look so tired. So the day came and we immersed ourselves into the US. And within 1 year, my little sister and I, we were not just fluent in English, we were speaking English with one another. So immersing ourselves made it a very efficient way in gaining that level of English. So when I conduct research and apply immersive approaches, I involve my team members, my stakeholders, my clients by joining the interviews and the live streams. Now at the end of the day, I schedule debriefing sessions. So we all come together and we talk about what did we hear, what were key moments, what are key findings. So this way I can ensure that we focus on the right 30% moving forward. Now you might say it's an additional 45 minutes at the end of the day, but what I came to realize, investing these 45 minutes helps us save time in the long run, because we don't have any misunderstanding, misconceptions, we don't need to realign later on. There is actually a McKinsey research that shows that if you in a team work in a well-established, collaboratively aligned way, you can actually save up to 50 minutes per day and per person. So by the end of the week, you have more than a half a day of time left that you can spend otherwise. So that's what I can encourage you to do. You might need to book from time to time these alignment meetings. Now, I'm not saying go out there and book as many alignment meetings as you can. They, of course, have to be also efficient in themselves too. But they might be needed because it will save you time in the long run. Coming to the third dimension of engagement. Now, there are actually these companies, if you're building a house or apartment, you can go there and they project the floor plan to the ground so you can immerse yourself into, well, your floor plan. It gives you a much better understanding of the entire situation, much better than just looking at the 2D floor plan. This helps you in making better decisions. Decisions before they're too late or before they're going to cost a lot of money. Now, when applying immersion in UX research, I involve my stakeholders, they attend the interviews, we do debriefing sessions together. Through this engagement, we actually gain a more holistic understanding of the entire situation. We have different point of views that we consider. And this helps us to, as a team, make a better decision. Decisions which are not based on just anyone's personal opinions. So yes, what you will definitely benefit is through this engagement, you'll gain a more holistic understanding and be able to make better decisions. So, summarizing, we have effectiveness. You get a higher understanding, a higher acceptance. We have efficiency. You save time, especially in the long run. And we have engagement. You gain a more holistic understanding, which helps you make better decisions. So overall, you can increase your impact by either involving yourself into a situation or by involving others. So next time you want to increase your impact, next time you want to spark these magic moments and close that gap, why don't you go out there and try to identify where and how you can create these immersive experiences. Thank you.